and I am very excited because he's a person that I have met. And here she is. There you
Hi,
go.
hi everyone.
Hello. Let me
Hello.
introduce you properly and let me give you the royal treatment of introduction as you deserve. You're seeing Darlyn Ty-Nilo. She's the founder, president, managing director of Viviamo and BDJ Power Planner. Darlene wanted to run as Philippine president. So speaking of dreams, she had a big dream when she was 12 years old. And after seeing the president that goes into politics, she decided she'll just make a difference by helping Filipinos plan their lives. She's the founder and president of Viviamo, which in Italian means let's live and let's have a
Yes.
good life. Producer and sought after woman paper organizer, the Belle du Jour Power Planner. It's a specialty planner that helps women live life to the fullest and has built an empowered and passionate community of over 90,000 members. 90,000 members. The success of the planner has created various opportunities for the company to create customized planners for other brands. She will be talking about something very interesting that is helpful for us to cope during these very hard times of lockdown. It's journal therapy in time of pandemic. Ladies and gentlemen, you are free.
Thank you so much for this very nice introduction and this great opportunity. So, hi guys. I hope I'll see a lot of engagement. I saw a lot of comments in this time. I'm seeing people commenting, and as we go through the process, event in the middle of my presentation, I'd like to invite you to share your sentiments with each other so that I can share it with everyone also. So, without further ado, I'll start with my presentation. Share. Share. Okay, sorry. Just making sure that I'm pulling up the right um, deck. So, guys, so what we're gonna talk about today is a journal therapy. So I'm the maker of the Belvedere Power Planner. I built this with my team. We're currently going on our 15th year with Belvedere Power Planner, and we're very happy to be part of the Freedom Summit Global. And I guess our role here, or my role here, my intention for today's 30-minute session with me is that to help you guys figure out where you are, where you want to go through journal therapy. Because sometimes before you can reach all your goals, before you go toward that big dream and make it happen to yourself, you have to understand what your starting point is. Where do you stand? So that you know what steps to move forward, what are the options or what are the steps that you can take. Okay? So I start off with these questions. Honestly, do you know yourself? Like, do you really truly know yourself? And the third question is, do you know how to listen to yourself? These questions seem like parang, oh, syempre, kilala ko naman sarili ko. But sometimes when we're truly being honest, we don't exactly know what we want. We don't exactly know what we need. We don't exactly know what brings us joy. So this time, or when you do journal therapy, that's part of the intention that I want you to put into. Like trying to really understand yourself. What makes yourself tick? What makes you productive? What motivates you? Because all of that is something very important that you will bring forward as with every business that you create, with every work that you do. And when we talk about in BDJ, it's always the energy of your presence when you create your products and you create your services. So when you do all of these things and you're coming from a place wherein you're confused, you're lost, you're stressed, your product will reflect these things. And this is why it's very important that you understand yourself. so that the source of whatever dreams that you have and the source of whatever products and services you can create is coming from a great and beautiful place that is within you. So when you do journal therapy, you learn how to listen to yourself. Okay? So another question I would ask people when we're starting off this workshop is, when you are not used to seeing yourself, how do you expect to live your life to the fullest? Kasi as I was sharing earlier, that it's very important that you really understand yourself. So at the same time, do you see yourself in its full potential? Do you see yourself in all the beauty and grandness of you, the brilliance of you? So if you do not even see that as honestly as possible, how can you live out your life? And how do you expect to live your purpose? So our agenda today is to talk about journal therapy and its benefits and how to use your planner in this time of COVID-19. So I know right now in most places this is broadcast all over the world, but in the Philippines we're doing um, modified we're doing GCQ, General Community Quarantine. So some of us are able to go out now, but at the same time, we know we have to be careful in terms of going out and still doing the precautions because it will risk our family's health. So the question first that I hope you're also before I continue. I hope you guys have like a notebook that you have with you. Maybe you can write down your answers. Nobody can see it anyway in your notebook or your planner at this time. So the first question is, honestly, do you regular express your feelings? And to be honest, me personally, as much as I'm doing all of these workshops on journal therapy, I can tell you honestly, it's very hard to regularly express your feelings. Because by default, parang we just keep it to ourselves eh. We feel like if it doesn't amount to anything, let's maybe just not talk about it. And we just keep it inside. But the problem here is when we don't express ourselves, we don't express our feelings, they get bottled up and then later on you just burst like a volcano, like you erupt, right? So that's the challenge. So when you do journal therapy, it's very in a confined space that's private. You do it in your journal. You do it in your journal and then you're able to do you're able to write all your feelings down, express them, get them out of your head, and just release it, right? And then when you're able to release it, even if you don't direct them to people, to your loved ones, or the person that you're feeling all these strong feelings towards, at least you're able to release them. So the next question I have is, in this time of COVID, have you really talked to someone about how this pandemic feels for you? So I will pause a bit because I want to be able to see your answers. Hold on. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. I can't, when I'm presenting, I'm not able to see myself or see what you guys are talking about. So I just had to like zoom out a bit so I can see what you guys are saying. So in this time of COVID, have you really shared with anyone, whether your partner, your friends, your family, how this really impacts you? Because it's really difficult. People talk about this anxiety over our heads, right? Na parang may bigat lang. There's this heaviness in the air, right? There's this heaviness in the air that we're feeling. So this heaviness in the air has that effect on us. You might think, no, I'm okay. Okay lang ako, I'm okay. I can handle this situation. But if you're familiar with the concept of the death by 1,000 cuts, each day that passes, each day that is not normal, that you have not accepted, you will go through this feeling of heaviness. And then if you're not able to process this, it creates parang a burden, I guess, on you psychologically and emotionally. And I've talked to many people, my friends, business owners, freelancers, employees, and they really feel the effect na initially akala mo, okay lang, I can handle this. But as you move on, parang there's really that indescribable feeling of I'm not super okay and I don't know exactly what to do, right? So these feelings are getting cooped up inside of us, and that's the one that we need to release. We take the time to release them. So sometimes we don't have a person that we're super comfortable to really just share this information, right? So the journal therapy will help us with that because I cannot emphasize enough that whatever thoughts, feelings that we have that's connected to our tummy, sometimes you feel like in your tummy, you have indigestion, and sometimes you feel in your tummy parang things are not okay. Either you're eating too much or you're eating not too much, not a lot, because our tummy is connected to the brain. Our gut has a connection with our brain. It's no coincidence that our intestines actually looks like our brain because they mirror each other. So whatever anxiety that you have in your head, it's will connect with your tummy. Your tummy will connect to your brain, and it's a cycle. So you need to be able to release this. Okay. Oh, very good. I'm seeing some people commenting na yun nga. Some people are staying in the room to talk them to themselves and to God. That's important to be able to find also your spiritual balance at this stage. But ako, I still would say release it on paper, or release it to someone because it needs to get outside your mental space. Because well, for me lang, I don't know how you talk to God, but for me, when I talk to God, it's in my head. Eh. It's still in my head. So it needs to come out. So that's my tip. It really needs to come out. You need to see it separate from your body. So you write it down, you see it, or it goes outside, you hear yourself. It's outside of you, right? Or you tell someone, because when you communicate with someone, you hear yourself, it becomes outside of you. So that's the part that I want to emphasize, that it needs to go outside of your head and it's separate. Because when we don't release all these emotions that are so complex that we cannot even have the right words to explain it, it feels like it's part of us. But when you release it, then you realize, that's just my emotions. That's not who I am. I'm actually more than those feelings, right? I'm more than all this negativity that I feel. So it's separate from me. So that's why you need to really separate it from yourself. So I hope I'm able to share that tip kasi promise that will help you significantly in whatever mental health, psychological, emotional challenges that you have. And at this time, it's I would call out people who are saying that they're not affected emotionally and psychologically because I haven't met anyone, or I don't know if that's just my circle. I haven't met anyone who's not affected by all of this in one way or another. And I'm sure there's a lot more effects of this that we still don't understand, and that's why it has that sense of uncertainty creates that fear with us. So I'll go to the next slide. So, can you remember a negative experience in your life? And do you remember sharing how you felt when you openly shared it to another person? So, let's see what you guys are saying. Ayan. So, negative experiences, whether it's trauma. Yes, Maria Teresa saying, not everyone wants to hear negative things. I agree. There's this concept of toxic positivity. So it's like just talking about positive things all the time. It's not good for mental health because it makes you feel like you have to shut down all negative feelings, whether it's anger, hurt, pain. as if these feelings don't matter or as if these feelings aren't important. Another negative experience is guilt. Majority of Filipinos suffer from guilt. I myself, as a mom of two kids, I suffer from guilt from being too busy. Yes, Mitch, grabe. The denial, me too. My denial was so strong because my personality is achiever, like go, 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 go. Whatever challenge life throws at us, I can do it. I can conquer it. But the reality is it's really, really hard and it's really difficult. And you cannot survive this without other people. You need support. I need support. I personally needed support. So if you remember a negative experience in your life, do you remember sharing how you felt openly to another person? So sometimes this is really hard to do. But, when we're able to process these negative experiences in our lives, the value of it? The value of it is that you're able to forgive yourself, see things in a different way, and at the same time, move forward. Otherwise, it will be a constant replay in your head na ito, paulit-ulit yung negative experience ito. And the ending will be the same. But when you start sharing it to another person, bring it outside your head, bring it outside you, then you do not become that negative experience. That negative experience is separate from you. So, this is the value of sharing it. But of course, granted, sabi nga ni, it has to be with someone you really trust. You have to make sure that you choose the right people because you will also get hurt if they will ignore you. You will get hurt if they don't respond the right way. But definitely, as Rose said in the chat, it's very hard to talk about it, but it will be liberating. So sometimes you can't control, right? Parang what you can't control. It's outside our control what people think, what people say. So you have to be able to do things for yourself. So that's what empowerment means, right? It's not going into victim mode na, wala naman kasi makikinig sa akin eh. Nobody will listen to me. No one will take me seriously. So you have to focus on things that are within your control, which is yourself. So part of this is being able to write this down. So I'm here to share also with you the concept of expressive writing. So with expressive writing, it's an authentic and open expression of your feelings. One may believe that when we share our feelings and when we share regularly our feelings, the truth comes out. And the common response, actually, that's why I asked you about the negative experience, is that people suppress their feelings on a negative experience because they don't want to feel it. Why? Because it's painful. When you tell someone or you write down your negative experience, you go through the whole experience. So you get hurt, you get pained. And who wants to inflict pain on themselves, right? But it's something that sometimes we need to do in order to actively process the emotions of the situations. Because when we keep it and suppress it as part of ourselves, it parang yun nga, what I shared earlier, it becomes final. It becomes like we can't change like what happened. We can't use that negative experience to fuel your positive experience. So that's why it's important that we process it properly. So when we become emotionally stuck and unable to move beyond the incident and the sentiments connect with it, it's going to be a challenge in fulfilling your dreams. It will become a challenge being truly yourself and being able to release the beauty, the brilliance of you. Because there will be a part of you na, no, I have to hold back. I have to hold back. I have to hold back. So that's the part that affects our brilliance. Okay? So on the next part, I want to share with you more about journal therapy, like and expressive writing. So it's essentially being able to find the right words to express your emotions. And we are using technically the left brain, left hemisphere of the brain. But when we write it down and we try to figure out what are the right words, we're using our, it's combining the left and the right brain. So we find more images, ideas, like to be able to bring it out. So, and this is why when we connect this left brain and right brain together and force them to work together to process our emotions and to process this experience, it becomes freeing. Kasi otherwise, nasa kabilang side lang siya or sa one part of our brain only. So, that's why it's important to write it down or to share it with someone. Because again, what is in our head is in our head. It's not as tangible. And there's really value to be able to bring this out and to write it down. Because being more tangible really will help you make things better for yourself. Okay, so as we continue to write about the experience of situation, we can start to see it in the context of our whole life. Sometimes when we don't realize the effect of the things that we're in, we're holding on to something, hindi natin ma-let go yung this particular experience, and we don't realize that this experience is affecting the rest of our life. So instead of that negative experience just affecting, let's say, your parang your childhood years, extend siya to ngayon, our present, to our future. You want that to happen? And I would assume, of course not. And this is why we have to process it and remember that this negative experience, whatever experience it is, it should stay in the past. We process it now so it can stay in the past and no longer impact our future and no longer impact how we make decisions in our current state, because we want to move into a better, more beautiful future. Okay? So, what is the difference between a diary versus a journal? So, a diary is just jotting down your day. Like, oh, this is what happened to me, blah, blah, blah. Parang, oh, I felt sad today because of this. Or today we had a special anniversary date. Or my friends called me and I had a really good conversation. That's a diary. Journal therapy is a bit more structured. It has specific prompts or exercise. It notes emotions and take the next step of processing and analyzing the events with their thoughts and feelings. So it can be based on a growth milestone or goals. And it's really definitely more purposeful. So journal therapy is writing down in a journal your thoughts, your emotions with the intent. So this is the most important part. The intent of processing them. So you just start off the same with the diary. You're just releasing and acknowledging your emotions. But slowly you're able to separate your thoughts and emotions from yourself and start processing it without judging your emotions and without judging yourself. Because sometimes the problem that we have is that we don't like being angry. We don't like being hurt. We don't like all these negative emotions, right? But the truth is, because we don't like it, we judge it. And we say that, no, that's bad. It's not necessarily bad. It's a signal. It's emotions are triggers. Emotions are telling signs of where you are personally. And in whatever venture that you go into, since we're talking about this in the context of the Freedom Summit Global, it will be hard to bear fruit if you don't have this clarified or you don't have this clear. So this journal therapy becomes a powerful start to healing and empowering yourself. So just to go through the proven benefits of journal therapy, it's reducing stress, regulating emotions, boosting working memory, improve overall well-being, developing emotional intelligence, help you achieve your goals, and enhance personal development. So On the science basis, I'll breeze through it because we just have the next 10 minutes, so I can at least answer some of your question. Those who do their journal their goals are 42% more likely to achieve them. It enhances your personal empowerment because when you're very intentional with writing your emotions, exploring your issues, you take the power back. You get your power back and you're able to manage whatever reaction response that you can do given that situation. So definitely the personal empowerment. So other sciences that support journal therapy is that it helps you physically in terms of health benefits. It strengthens your immune system. It speeds up physical wound healing. And of course, as we talked about, it regulates emotion. So they were even saying, yun nga, cancer was mentioned here. That for people who have cancer, this is what they say. I'm not like a medical expert. But people who have cancer, some people link it to issues of forgiveness, whether it's issue forgiving yourself or forgiving other people. So when they would say that some people would an alternative treatment is just going through the self work of releasing all these negative emotions that have piled up in the past, and that will speed up your personal healing because I'm in the mindset and belief that our spiritual, emotional, psychological, and physical body are all connected to each other. So when we solve one issue, whether it's psychological, emotional, it will translate to physical. Same goes. That's why physical, some people, when they exercise, they feel emotionally better, psychologically better, because either way, some people pray on the spiritual level. When you pray, it translates to your physical, and it translates to your emotional, it translates to your psychological. Whichever path you want to go through, you can do that by yourself. You can choose, but they will have an effect on each other. So where do we start? So let's go right into it. So I'll invite you guys to go into the bit.ly VV So let's try to have an exercise together. Let's go through this. If you guys are okay. So let's go to the bit.ly dot slash VV. So I hope that everyone can see like what people are talking about. Okay? So question 1, how do you feel right now? So maybe some of you guys can share with everyone who's joining this class that how do you feel right now? Okay. It's starting to fill up. So thank you guys for those who are sharing in our group. So yun, feeling right now is numb, uncertain about what will happen in the future, right? Sobrang very real emotions. Like sometimes I really feel anxious personally with what's happening. Whether in the government, what's happening in our society. Sometimes you look at the news, parang grabe what's happening, right? So you start always, whenever you do journal therapy, you check in with yourself. How do I feel right now? Okay. So the code here is for those who are just catching up. I'll try to share it with the organizers para ma-share in the group chat. It's bit.ly slash VVjam. So it's bit.ly/vvjam. Okay. So you can see here, my numb, uncertain about what will happen in the future, worried about my health, of my team, of my family. Other feelings is diba, what I shared was anxiousness. Ako, I personally feel anxious on what's going to happen next. Like I don't know what's gonna happen in our future. There are 2 million, I think 2 million Filipinos who've lost their jobs. 2,000 companies have closed down. All of these things have like a bit of an effect on me, and it worries me. So I'll keep this open so you guys just keep on copying. Yeah, wondering when will we get back to normal. You're right. Parang paano yun? Actually the thing is they're saying that we'll never get back to normal. That's why they're calling this, diba yung iba naiinis na with the term new normal. We have to go to a new normal now. In denial, not really used to talking about how I feel and how I'm coping. This is very true. I felt this. Even if I do this workshop, I'm doing this workshop because I'm also in this journey with you guys of trying to be more disciplined in expressing my feelings, and then expressing and writing things down will really help you, let help me, help everyone in terms of clarity of mind. Second question. So just go to this pages here on top. What triggered the change from your old normal? So, in your personal life. So, yung first is just a check-in about where you are, where you stand, right? So, the next question, so this is a guideline. Whenever you process journal therapy in your personal lives, so it can be the pandemic, it can be a specific experience, and you just change parang the last part of the question. What triggered the change? So, an example for me for an answer here was that we need to start working from home. So that triggered the change na parang shocks. Okay, there we need to do a work from home setup in our company. That really drastically changed. So you have to find out or identify what is the trigger in the change in your life or that emotions. Nice yon. Need to act to provide for my family. Yes. What are these triggers? Again, whenever you answer these questions, it's very important that you don't judge yourself. You just write down whatever is in your mind. Just keep on writing whatever thoughts you have, because these are your honest to goodness feelings. So I will move to the third question because we don't have much time, but I'll keep this open so that you guys can share with each other where you guys are. Third question. What was your old normal that you miss the most? Okay. So what is this that we miss? I miss eating out in a restaurant with my family. Like my daughter last week just asked me, "Mom, I want to eat in a restaurant." Because we've just been home for 3 months, 3 4 months, or I don't know. It just feels like it's so long, right? 3 months. Yes, being able to visit family and friends, being just able to go out of the four walls of your room, going to church. Yes, I definitely miss that. So you write down what about the old that you miss? What is about the past? Kasi parang when you're doing journal therapy, there's a reason, there's an intention, right? So you talk about your feeling, where you are now. You talk about the trigger. The third question is you talk about what was about the past or what about the before that you miss. Okay? Then going to the fourth question, going back to feelings. How do you feel about these changes? So, thank you. Ang daming nag-comment here. I really appreciate it. But I'm just being watchful of the time.
Thank
How do you... Sorry?
Thank you, Darlene. Yes, we have
Sorry.
online.
Yeah, we have a next speaker. So, how do you feel about these changes, right? So, you process about these feelings about the changes. And the fifth question is you look at what have you done? Whether you've done something, even let's say it's a fresh experience. Something you've done can be as simple as I've cried it all out. I've kept it to myself. That's something you do. So you just acknowledge actions you've done related to that experience. And the last question is figuring out what worked and what didn't work. So these are six questions I can give to you guys separately. I'll share it with the organizers so that you can just change or tweak it depending on whatever scenarios that you guys are experiencing. And um essentially that's what I want to be able to share with you guys today. And then we can open the questions for open the floor for questions.
Well, if you let me, you are a dream come true for a host. You did all my job. I think you connected with all our viewers on a very strong personal level, and I felt your honest empathy
Thank
and
you.
your warm connection to all of them. And you connected to them also electronically. So that's the best of the two worlds, and I consider my job done. I would like to thank you very much on behalf of Freedom Summit Global, because as we said in the very beginning, for us, the human element is extremely important, and you gave us a full array of thoughts and tools and tips and tricks to better understand. And I've seen so many questions trying to react to you. So thank you very much, Darlene. Once
Thank
again,
you.
you can remind them how they can contact you.
They can email me. I actually have an open email. It's dar emails. I will type it in our dar email. So DAR emails at ilovebtj.com. So I'm personally answering those emails. So we open it up to our community to just message me. So this is I leave it's just a quote the ending. So essentially I hope you guys be able to reach being honest with yourself at this time, and especially when you move towards whatever venture that you go towards. So after watching all the fantastic speakers in the Freedom Summit Global, you take the time to understand yourself where you are, so you will have more fuel and last longer in your venture.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Darlene.